So for this first lesson, what we're going to do is define money and look at different measures of money as relate to monetary policy, with the idea being we want to get to this fundamental economic graph that relates the growth rate of money and a short-term nominal interest rate target, for example, such as the federal funds rate. So this is something you'll see a lot in monetary economics textbooks. But what we want to do is get to that definition of what's going on in this horizontal axis with money. So first and foremost, we want to view money as a service. Money is not a good, it's not a commodity, it is a service. And so what we'll start with is defining these services that any kind of commodity or good that provides them then could be a money. So let's start a look. The four particular services that I want to focus on for this lesson are the medium of exchange, so the exchange of value that you get from money, of being able to trade goods and services. A unit of account, the ability to measure money in your head. Okay, this is valued in $5. Well, what is $5? That's the monetary service that we get as we can think of these. It could be $5, 50 pesos, 150 yuan. But this unit of account service gives you a starting point for measuring the value of something in a more objective fashion. A store of value, this is an extremely important service that money provides in that it will give you some return as you hold on to it. If you're in a barter economy that's, say, exchanging eggs, those eggs will go rotten. So you want some kind of money that will be durable. You want a durable service. And finally, money provides speculation. Now, I know a lot of people aren't going to be particularly happy with this type of service. Some of you may be, some of you may not be, but should money be a speculative asset? And we will make the case that yes, it should, and this monetary service of speculation has some benefits as well as the drawbacks. So, now, all money is going to be a fiat money in this context. Value is due to credibility in providing these services. It is fiat because people believe it. Now, there is a distinction of debt money, which is value of money created due to credibility in some form of debt, and a commodity money, which is value due to credibility in a specific commodity, gold, for example. Remember, gold just is really a nice medium to provide these services. There is nothing that differentiates gold from silver or a piece of paper or an electron in a computer or 1 and 0 in a computer. Gold is a quote-unquote good money because it provides store of value, medium of exchange, speculation, unit of account. The dollar is a great money because it provides these four services and for a very long time has provided them better than gold. So if we go back and we think, well, why don't we just exchange goods and services between people directly? Well, in a barter economy like that, it's very difficult to measure that value. If you need to trade in goods, and if I can just look around thinking, I see my coffee maker behind me, the chair, the cup, all of these things, I'd have to find someone, and we'd have to agree on an exchange if I provide economics lessons or some kind of computer tutoring, etc., etc. But for in goods and services, we would need in times in minus 1 divided by 2 prices. So if you have something as simple as a 3 good and service economy, you would need, let's see, 3 times 2 divided, you would need 3 separate prices for each one of those. There we go, 3 times 2 over 2, yeah. And you can see as this goes up into 4 goods, 5 goods, 6 goods, 7 goods, 10 goods, not to mention the thousands of goods you see in the supermarket every day. So money simplifies that transaction and that measure of value. It's difficult to transfer goods over time. Eggs, as I said before, tend to spoil, so they probably aren't the best kind of money. Different goods spoil, different services are not durable. We need a durable service, and not all goods and services are durable. So certain goods and commodities that are more durable than others could serve better in terms of the store of value. And we would have generally very high transaction costs in a barter economy. Because of this problem of the double coincidence of wants, I would have to find people. I would have to spend a lot of time finding people who want to trade with me in order to get, say, a cup of coffee, a chair, tuition for ECON 2301 or something similar to that. So a barter economy, not a very good situation to be in. So what is money that it provides a higher service or a better service than a barter economy? Well, we have these markets for medium exchange, where we have these money markets with usually short maturity instruments at low risk and highly liquid. A lot of people agree that we can trade these things back and forth. This is where you can put in currency, different types of currencies, pesos, yuan, yen, things like that. They are short maturity, they are low risk, and they are high liquidity. But we could also find markets for store of value. You can think of capital markets, longer maturity, stable risk, low liquidity. You could include certain bonds as a measure of money, depending on the services that they provide in the context of that economy. Markets for speculation tend to be short or long maturity, high risk and high liquidity. So I would throw cryptocurrency and equities into this. But sit down and see if, you look at cash, 3-month treasury bill, a stock portfolio, Bitcoin, see which one of these fit a bit better in these particular markets. Are they short maturity? Are they low risk? Are they high risk? Are they highly liquid? My best guess on that one is do the grocery store test. Can you walk into the grocery store and spend it? A checking account is highly liquid. Why? Because I have a debit card or a checkbook that I can go in and spend with it. A savings account has now become a very liquid asset, for example. That now the Fed is even counting an M1 since 2020. So that could be something that, instead of, say, a market for a store value for a savings account, maybe your savings account needs to be treated as a medium of exchange more these days. So a lot of this depends on the context of what's going on. Money depends on a lot of this context. So what should we include then in a measure of money if we want the more highly liquid, low risk, short maturity? Well, what we generally do is call that monetary aggregate M, that kind of collection of all of those monies that have this shorter maturity, are traded within money markets, are low risk and high security. So what do these look like? Well, we can think of high-powered money, and this is the money generated by the government, generated by fiat. Here you have currency pushed out and also bank reserves as used by the Federal Reserve. And you can measure that in monetary base. So we could just say, let's put these two together and we'll measure them as a monetary aggregate. We'll call that monetary base. That's the fiat money part of it. But there is more money generated from this. If you go back to your old probably middle school and high school where people talk about a money multiplier, you deposit $100 in a bank, you're generating more than $100 of service. How? Because the bank is lending that money out. Why are they lending it out? Because they are supposed to maintain value for your checking accounts, savings accounts, money market mutual funds, CDs. This is money created within the financial system, not created by the government or the Federal Reserve, but by the financial system. We can also expand this to include commercial paper, repo, T-bills, and this inside money can be generated by banks, firms, foreign governments, but this is kind of the money that's created outside the purview of the Federal Reserve, and that is debt-backed money. Okay, so now we have different kinds of money defined here. What about different kinds of money users? Well, consumers like me will use cash, will use checking accounts, or called demand deposits, savings deposits, maybe money market mutual funds. If you want to get fancy, put some deposits into a CD in your bank account. But then there's also these more larger institutional kinds of money users, large firms, governments, and they use things like commercial paper or bonds issued by companies, treasury bills, overnight repurchase agreements, or even these jumbo-sized CDs over $100,000, for example, is at least what the FDIC measures as jumbo for these. So these all come together. These all are used as money that is flowing within this system. So we want to put together some kind of aggregate that usefully measures these.